Okay, good morning, everyone. Good evening. Good whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to our Profit Max podcast. This is another episode, and today we are very privileged to have a special guest, none other than the group managing partner of Baker Tilly, and I'll introduce him in a little while. But basically, in this day, in this time, businesses still need to grow. No, amid all the challenges. No, so whether you're in manufacturing business, a commodity business, wholesale, whatever, or professional services, we still need to grow. Yeah. So Andrew is one of the top professional services firms, Baker Tilly, and we're going to tap his brains and see how that works. Of course, in the professional services industry, human resource is a very, very important factor. So we'll get into that as well. So let me introduce Andrew. Andrew is second generation with Baker Tilly, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell us how this business got started and his role in it and how he has taken it over. Over to you, Andrew.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Just a quick introduction. I'm currently the group managing partner of Baker Tilly Malaysia, which is a full-fledged professional services firm in Malaysia. Of course, our main services are audit, tax, advisory, and insolvency. My personal area of specialty is in advisory and insolvency, an area that I'm quite passionate about, and it has been a tough but exciting to be in this specific specialized line. Basically, Baker Tilly Malaysia is the 7th largest firm in Malaysia, and we are part of the top 10 largest accountancy network in the world. The firm was started by my father, Andrew Heng, over 40 odd years ago. I think it started as Heng and Co. and eventually became Montero and Heng, and now Baker Tilly Montero and Heng, or just Baker Tilly Malaysia. Okay. I think many of the older generation, or those that are older than me, will still know or still refer to the firm as Montero and Heng. In fact, we are probably celebrating our 45th anniversary next year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. In fact, one of my friends, when he heard Baker Tilly, say, "Hey, I know them. They are auditing my company, and I started with them when they were Montero Heng." I'm sure many people know that brand, know that name. Okay.
Yes.
So when did you join the company, and how long has it been?
I joined in 2000, I think. So that is about 21 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was quite lucky in the sense that that time was the 2000 was the I won't say onset, but was the financial crisis. It was in the middle of the 97 financial crisis. And my dad formed a joint venture with an Australian firm, Farrer Watson, to start the insolvency and restructuring entity. So when I joined that entity, and that's why I'm very much in the insolvency line and very specialized in this area.
Okay, great. So maybe Andrew, we could start by you telling us why it's so important to have a good strong team in professional services, and how do you do that in Baker Tilly?
So yeah, I of course being in the service industry, people are our assets. They're our number one assets. So it is very important to have a team that you can trust to go the distance. A lot of times we are not at the client's place, when we are not facing the client. At our level, we're probably sitting in the office. So it is very important that we need to have the team and to know that they have our backs all the time. So here at Baker Tilly, we are considered as a family, and we trust our people. And we don't just say this our lip service. We actually put this to practice every day, and over the years, we build the teams department by department, strengthening the departments with people with relevant skill set, Then only we open up new departments, providing new services, and equipping the department with people with the relevant skills. After that, over the years, then we started to look into opening branches and so on, and started to look at network system and so on. So, we slowly, piece by piece, I would say when I started 20 years ago, Andrew Heng was probably a 200-person firm, 200 plus. Our office was based in Brickfields. And, over the last 20 years, department by department, we sort of built it up. Together with our network firms, now we are probably 800 strong in Malaysia, and with a branch office in Cambodia as well.
Okay, excellent. So you're not only in Malaysia, you're in Cambodia as well.
Yes. In fact, we had a small sting in Mongolia as well.
Yeah.
So that was very fun. But it was just a bit too far for us to manage. And when we joined Baker Tilly, there was already an existing Baker Tilly firm there, so we decided to pull out from there. But Cambodia, we remain, and in fact, we managed to get them to join Baker Tilly as well. So part of the whole Baker Tilly family, both Malaysia and Cambodia.
Okay. I have a couple of friends in Cambodia. That's why I asked. One of them is running the Hong Leong Bank there. Another guy is running the Heineken business there. Okay. So this thing about giving the trust to your staff and your team and building them, how would you describe your culture or core values in Baker Tilly, Andrew?
So we basically the Baker Tilly's core value is based on integrity, quality, and talent. And we have this what we call the Baker Tilly ways. I think a lot of companies use vision, mission, and so on. But being service industry, I think is slightly different. So we call it the Baker Tilly core values and the Baker Tilly way. In fact, the Baker Tilly way of doing things. Three of them, which is family, entrepreneurship, and humility. And we practice this quite a lot. And you also see in a lot of our social media and so on, you see where we have the hashtag of being best place to work, and also hashtag best firm to partner with. So this actually drives our behavior and shapes a lot of the decisions that we make with regards to keeping the staff and how we want to do, and so on and so forth. In fact, if you look at this pandemic over the last 2 years, this is actually the foundation that we use to base it to make our decisions in a lot of things. The most recent being the vaccine. In fact, we actually went through the Selangor program, and we bought close to 200 dose for our staff, for those that didn't get through the queue and so on. So we actually pay for that, and it's not cheap. But we thought it is important to us that we look after our people. After all, they have to be going around. Some of them are auditing some of the public listed companies, and are still outside, moving around trying to get the work done. So we felt that it was important. So we actually bought those doses for them. So far, we are probably one of the few firms that can say that about 85% of our people at least had the first dose already of the vaccine. Yeah.
That's amazing, and that's really walking the talk and not just saying family, but actually putting investing in the doses and making sure your safety of your people are really accounted for. That's really good. Excellent. Okay.
In fact, our talent department, which is our human resources department, they probably worked the hardest over the last 2 years, because we tried to implement a lot of programs, mental health, and then also some fun things. The last thing, we got a comedian over Zoom, so for our people to enjoy a bit.
Fantastic. Okay. So talking about mental health, that's a very good thing as well, because nowadays people are under all kinds of stress. You worry about your family, you worry about your kids, you worry about your parents, In a way, you worry about the lockdown and the impact on your livelihood as well, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So just to ask, no, has the pandemic affected you in terms of your business? Has it in any way, or you? Because everybody needs an accountant, right? So I'm just wondering whether accounting firms are impacted at all.
Definitely has impacted. I think you'll be I think a lot of people, yeah, like what you said, they still need the accounting services and so on. So that's true. That's true. But of course, there is also you can choose to delay it slightly, be a bit late, and so on and so forth. So it did impact lah, and also cash flow wise, there's also a bit of impact in terms of some of our clients paying on time, not so on time, and so on and so forth. And some of the other services, the non-audit, non-tax services, those are slightly impacted because those some of the things will require the economy being a bit more fluid lah. So there are some impact, but overall, I think we have done quite well over the last 2 years. I mean, with a bit of drop here and there, but we're still able to manage lah. And I think that's the good thing.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Talking about talent, and how do you sort of attract and get talent, no? Because I guess in your business, a knowledge-based industry, talent would be quite important, right? Even though you may have systems and all that.
Yes, yes. So with us, we only employ graduate accountants. So a lot we are very close with a lot of the universities, both locally and overseas. We are recruiting almost every day or every month. There's always a recruitment program going on. And we are actively involved in a lot of the universities in terms of their accounting clubs and things like that. And we provide internship program all year round as well for any of the accounting students that needs to do internship. We don't limit them. We will just take in as many as we want. We do talks here and there. We are very heavily and actively involved in all the accounting association, not just the Malaysian Accounting Association, but also the Australian, the English association as well. For those that are here, like your ACCA, CPA Australia, CA, ANZ, and all those. So we are very actively involved. So we participate in all the programs, and we make sure that we are in front of them, in front of their face, so that we can get the staff to join.
All right.
The other thing that we do quite actively is also on our social media. As you know, nowadays the younger students or the younger graduates, they are quite active in social media. So you see a lot of our social media posting about what we do. Of course, on Facebook is a lot of the fun stuff. So and in order to have those fun stuff, we are actually doing it, throughout the year, and showing walking the talk that we say we are family and we are best place to work. Right. So we really make an effort, and we put a budget to all this that we do in order to make sure that our people are healthy and and strong and fit.
Yeah. Well, I guess those are very good, but I guess you're playing in the same sandbox as the big four or big five. So how do you get the best, or how do you try to get the best? Because I'm sure they're doing the similar things as you are, going to career fairs in universities and doing whatever. But so how do you try to level up or leverage on that?
So the market is actually quite big, and there are a lot of students studying accounting as well. I think nowadays the concept of straight A students, you want to fight for the straight A students, the one that got the high D one. I think that no longer plays that much of an important role. they, they are still the middle, the average, the high, or maybe mid above average and so on. These are equally as good people. And with accounting and with the way the world is turning and the way technology is improving, a lot of what they learn in all these universities may not be applicable as well. Of course, the concepts are important. They need to understand the basic principles, the basic concept. But when it comes to working and all this, a lot of this on-the-job training, especially with the software that we're using, with the audit software, when I started, we used to carry on our pocket red pen, blue pen, a pencil, and then a green pen, which is very important. The green pen was the most important one, and also a rubber in our back pocket, so that when we do something wrong, we can rub it off quickly. But nowadays it's all computerized. Everything is software. Nearly every department, is some sort of software. So a lot of on-the-job training. And some of the new things that we do, like, insolvency, corporate finance, these are some of the things that you don't actually get to learn in universities. You do your basic accounting degree with, so these are things that, you don't get to learn anyway. So, yeah, so a lot of it is on-job training.
So what I'm hearing from you, Andrew, is it's kind of level, no? As long as you got a minimum qualifications of a degree, that's a starting point. So what are the extra qualities that you look for, in hiring good people?
So nowadays, the social skill is very important. Language is also plays a very important role nowadays. With the market opening up, and if you have a foreign language expertise, Japanese, French, or whatever, these are also some of the things that we look out for. Social skill, interpersonal skills, the way you interact with people, these are also getting very important. I think nowadays it's very easy to ask people to go out and get information, ask them to audit a client, ask them, go and get this, go and get that. But, without the skill, time will be delayed. And, people don't get along with you, don't want to give you this, don't want to give you that, don't want to talk to you. So all these are important. And also language skills nowadays, also, written English and things like that. I think this is also very important. They need to have that skill set in order to do the reports. Even in our internal notes, our working paper, they need to be able to explain what they have done, why they make certain decision in going this way and not that way, and so on and so forth. And now with China being so big, the Mandarin speaking, reading, and Chinese writing skills also becomes an important part already. A lot of times we deal with Chinese clients from China. We have to converse both written and spoken in Mandarin. So so it's getting important. So these are some of the things that we will look out for.
Okay, great, excellent. Keeping very much in line with the trends, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What about training? I guess you provide some training as well for your team and your people.
Yes. So we actually within our firm we have a dedicated department called the Quality Assurance Team, and Technical Team, QAT. So is actually led by a partner herself. Is one of our partner. She doesn't do any client-facing work. All she does is the quality work and technical work. And that department is, I think there's about 7 of them. So we have 7 full-time staff that don't do any fee-earning job. They are purely on training, technical, and so on. So the training goes on a whole year round. We both internal trainings we provide. We also provide some of the trainings to some of the association, like the Malaysian Institute Association, and also Malaysian Institute of Accountants, and also MICPA. We also help out with their training as well. So we do that whole year round. It's all internal. on top of the internal one, we also send them to attend the external trainings as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so training wise, this is practically a whole year round, and even with the lockdown, we have to go through Zoom and video conferencing and all this. So all these are all being done. We record it, and then then we send it out for them to attend, for them to do it at their own time. So all these are provided to all our networks as well, including our Cambodian office.
That's great. And good to see you're taking a leadership role as well, because you said your people also provide training to MIA and all that.
Yes.
That gives you a lot of credibility and visibility as well.
Yes. Especially with the younger accountants, those that just graduate, because these kind of programs, usually the younger ones will tend to attend.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. Okay. So coming back to the pandemic, the current situation that has impacted practically so many sectors. The hardest hit, of course, we know are people in the travel and tour and tourism business, all the hotel sectors, the airlines and all that, F&B sectors, retail. So I guess you in your client base, you cover a whole gamut of a whole broad range of industries. Number one is, which are the ones that are hit hardest? And number two is, would you have any advice, to help these guys out?
Not so sure about the advice part. Yeah, especially with all this, all the retail and all these restaurants. I think they are hit the worst.
Yeah, I guess some of it is beyond control. It all depends on the lockdown situation.
Yeah, and also maybe also, I mean, if I don't want to get into politics here, but maybe also fair warnings to them instead of just one day before. I have a few of my clients, they order in all the good stuff, all your Wagyu beef and all this, and then suddenly the day before they say shut down. These are perishable goods and so on. So what do you do with them?
Yeah.
One of my favorite Japanese restaurant in Bangsasa also, they say all the fresh fish, sashimi all came in, then suddenly closed down. Well, I was happy. They asked me to come over and buy it half price of them to bring home and so on. So I mean, I'm happy, but I feel for them. They
yes.
they are really suffering and so on. So, but a lot of this has to be properly managed, and I wouldn't say it's their fault at all. If they were giving fair warnings, maybe they can plan ahead and so on. But yeah. So in terms of advice, I think I would have to say, I think we don't really know what's happening, with what the government policy and all this. We see them announcing things every day, every other day. I think we just have to be vigilant and just plan. Maybe not plan for the year ahead, maybe plan a few weeks ahead or few months ahead, and just base it on that rather than and concentrate on the few weeks ahead rather than looking at the year ahead. I think that would be the best. I think that would be one of my advice.
Yeah. I guess that's very pragmatic, no? Because you really can't see now. You can't see even if you are in a good country where, like Singapore, where things are more under control. But much worse here because things are so uncertain and they change every day, like you say. There's so much uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. We still have to plan anyway, at least for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I basically tell my clients, you got to plan for 13 weeks forward. From a cash flow projection standpoint, as well as from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
And you got to have multiple plans. In times like this, you got to do. I mean, you can't go into too much detail, but you got to do a lot of scenario planning. What if?
Correct.
What if there's a lifting of the lockdown in 2 weeks' time instead of 2 months' time, or in 2 months' time instead of 2 weeks' time? No.
You're right.
Yeah.
So in fact, that's one of the things. I think a lot of them, I also tell them, we used to look at cash flow maybe as a yearly thing. Then we look at it as a monthly thing. I think now you probably have to do a cash flow projection on a weekly basis.
Yes.
And play with a scenario and see how it affects you if this thing come in, that thing come in, or suddenly this, you have to pay this and so on. So you're right. I think, you have to probably reduce the your concentration to the weeks ahead rather than months or year.
Yes, yes. Like Jack Ma said last year, right? You can survive this crisis already a victory, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So Andrew, you have taken over the helm now for several years, I think, right?
Yes.
So what are your plans, you know, going forward? You know, I mean, assuming we get out of this in 1 or 2 or 3 years' time, what are your plans going forward for the firm and taking it to the next level?
In fact, we had a 5-year plan that we sort of postponed 2 years because of this pandemic. One of the main thing is that we also want to expand our network firm to all the states. Currently, we don't have offices in Sabah and Sarawak, so this is something that we are looking at to extend our services there and to plan ahead on those. We are also looking at our Cambodian office, you know, to expand a bit more on that scenario. Internally, we also have our own target of wanting to go up the rank a bit. We're currently probably the 7th largest. We probably want to be, you know, 6th or 5th if we can. There's also a larger picture where with Baker Tilly International, amongst the Asia Pacific firms, we also want to move ahead in terms of the ranking as well, to be maybe, you know, the 6th or 7th largest firm in Asia Pacific as well. So these are some of the aims that we have, and it was actually our 5-year plan. So we, excuse me, we have to slightly defer that to maybe the next, well, add another 2 years to the plan somehow.
Yeah,
or maybe 3.
Yeah. We're all impacted one way or another, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe one last question, Andrew. How would you describe your leadership style? No.
Okay. Yeah, I like this question. I actually a strong believer of the concept of servant leadership. I don't know whether you've heard of this. This is the concept by Robert Greenleaf, who was an executive, I think, in the 70s in AT&T. He actually wrote this groundbreaking essay about servant leadership. Basically, it's about you know, the leadership system where you look at leadership as a pyramid with a leader on top and everyone serving below. So what he wrote in his essay was actually an inverted pyramid. So the leader is an upside down pyramid. So the leader is actually at the bottom and serving the people on top, which is the lower level. So if you can sum it up, is basically the motto or the way they sum it up is that are we doing something that could help people become better? So to help your lower level people, your staff to become a better person, to a better community, a better person, a better firm through that way. So, you know, I've always practiced that, and it's something that I base my leadership on that basis. I just want to make people better, you know, bringing them up the ranks and so on. Of course, there are times when you know, something happened, you get angry, and then you become autocratic sometimes. But you know, that thankfully that doesn't happen that often. There are times where you have just take over and say, let everyone shut up and listen. but most times, and I think my colleagues or my fellow partners will attest to it. I think I'm very much on that kind of leadership motto. I just want to make everyone better, and then when everyone is better, we grow faster and grow quicker as well.
Yes. Yeah, like they say, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link.
That's right.
And I guess this idea of servant leadership ties back to one of your 3 culture points you were talking about, the Baker Tilly way, right? I think you mentioned humility as one of them.
Humility is one of them, yeah. So family, entrepreneurship, and humility.
Yeah.
So that's where this entrepreneurship things comes in. So we believe that you know, not only we care for them as a family, as a well-being, we also believe that everyone that has joined has the potential to grow to become a leader. And you know, we encourage them to be entrepreneurial, be it whether within the firm or outside. And then a lot of times, a lot of accountants will leave us, a lot of graduates. We maintain the relationship, so we actually encourage them. They come for advice and so on. Not everyone is suited to remain forever in auditing or in accounting profession. So some of them wants to go in, become CFO, and then eventually CEO, some of them. So that's how we encourage that as well. And so we just want to make sure that everyone grows, everyone becomes a leader on their own accord. And that's our Baker Tilly way. So family, entrepreneurship, and humility.
Yep. So I see that very, what you call synergistic, no?
Yes.
Servant leadership and humility. Because if you don't have humility, it's very hard to practice servant leadership.
Exactly.
And I represent Virtuous Leadership Institute, where we talk about leadership founded on the virtues, and humility is definitely one of them. No, combined with magnanimity is the desire to do great things, the ability to do great things. But must be coupled with humility, no?
Yes.
And humility is not just kowtow. Humility is actually being very aware, honestly aware of one's talents, knowing that where those talents come from, and using those talents, harnessing those talents for the better good, for the greater good of the community. So in your case, of course, the community, immediate community is your company, your firm, your staff, no? And then raising their levels and capabilities and all that. And in the whole process, when you lift everyone up, then I guess you lift your whole organization up.
Yes, you lift yourself up because your organization becomes much better.
Yes. Okay. So on that note, Andrew, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on to this program. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Oh, I'm contactable by my emails and also through social media. But email will be the best lah. The phone call sometimes too many comes in. A lot of sometimes the foreign numbers I don't get to see. But yeah, but if
email would be,
sorry,
your email would be
andrew.heng@bakertilly.my.
Okay.
Yeah.
So folks, if you have any of you want to contact Andrew and find out more about Baker Tilly, that's how you get hold of him. Okay, so with that, we'll see you again in next time, and thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.